Why does 100 rupees feel powerful in one place, but almost meaningless in another? A dollar, a pound, a yen, or even a rupee. They're all just numbers on paper or digits on a screen. So why doesn't the same number carry the same power everywhere? Because money isn't about the number. It's about what that number can actually do. Every currency is a reflection of a country's reality, its economy, its productivity, its stability. And most importantly, trust. When a country builds, exports, innovates, and grows, people across the world want its currency. That demand pushes its value higher. But when an economy weakens, prints excessive money, or loses global confidence, that demand fades. And when trust drops, value drops with it. That's why exchange rates never sit still. They move every second, reacting to decisions, news, trade, and investor behavior. Currencies are not fixed objects. They are constantly competing in a global marketplace. So the real question isn't why $1 isn't equal to 1 pound or 1 yen. The real question is, how strong is the system standing behind it? If every country owes trillions, then who is actually getting paid? It sounds like a global paradox. Everyone is in debt, yet the system still runs. Because countries aren't just borrowers, they're also lenders. When governments need money, they don't simply print it. They borrow it by issuing bonds, essentially promises to repay with interest. And who buys these promises? Ordinary people, banks, pension funds, corporations, even other countries. So when a nation is in debt, it's not some mysterious entity they owe. It's millions of investors, including their own citizens. Debt doesn't sit in one place. It spreads across the entire financial system. And here's the key. Most governments never fully repay it. They roll it over. Old debt gets replaced with new debt. As long as trust remains, the system continues. So the real question isn't who they owe. It's why people keep trusting them enough to lend more. If printing money is so easy, why not just make everyone rich? Imagine this. A small town has 100 people and 100 loaves of bread. Everything is balanced. Now suddenly, everyone gets extra money. But the number of loaves stays the same. What happens? Nothing magical. People start competing for the same bread, and prices rise. More money didn't create more wealth. It just made the same things more expensive. That's inflation. Money only works when it represents real value. Goods, services, productivity. Remove that connection and money starts losing meaning. History has already shown what happens when printing goes too far. Money becomes paper. Prices become chaos. So the real question isn't why we don't print more. It's what gives money its value in the first place. What if money didn't need a government at all? That's where Bitcoin enters the picture. No central bank, no authority, just code. Bitcoin runs on a public system called blockchain, where every transaction is recorded and verified by a global network. No single person controls it, no country owns it, and unlike traditional money, it has a hard limit. Only 21 million will ever exist. That scarcity is what gives it its appeal. Like digital gold, but it comes with trade-offs. Prices swing wildly, transactions can be slow, and if you lose access, there's no recovery. Bitcoin challenges a fundamental idea. What if trust doesn't come from governments, but from systems? What if prices kept falling instead of rising? Sounds amazing at first. Cheaper food, cheaper homes, cheaper everything. But here's the hidden problem. When people expect prices to drop even more, they stop buying. Why buy today if tomorrow is cheaper? Businesses start losing sales, they cut production, lay off workers, reduce wages. Now people have less money, so they spend even less. And the cycle continues. Deflation doesn't just lower prices, it slows down the entire economy. So the real question isn't why inflation exists. It's how much is too much or too little. When countries put taxes on imports, who actually pays? It sounds like a punishment for foreign companies. But that's not how it plays out. The company importing goods pays the tariff first, then to protect profit. They increase prices, and those higher prices, they land on you, the consumer. So while tariffs are designed to protect local industries, the cost quietly moves through the system until it reaches everyday people. The real question isn't who gets taxed. It's who feels it in their wallet. Why does owning a home feel impossible now? There was a time when one income could build a life, buy a house, and create stability. Today, even two incomes struggle. What changed? Prices didn't just rise, they accelerated. But wages? They moved slowly. At the same time, housing stopped being just shelter, it became an investment. Investors, corporations, and funds started buying property not to live in, but to grow wealth. Add limited supply, rising demand, and cheap, past loans. And you get a system where homes are no longer just homes, they're assets. And that shift changed everything. Is making money about speed or patience? Trading looks exciting, fast decisions, quick profits, constant action, but it comes with pressure, risk, and unpredictability. Investing, on the other hand, looks boring, slow growth, long timelines, minimal action. But that's where compounding works quietly. Traders try to predict movements. Investors rely on time. And time is the one factor no one can beat. So the real question isn't which is better. It's which mindset you can actually sustain. What if debt isn't a burden, but a weapon? For most people, debt feels heavy, something to escape. But for the wealthy, it works differently. Instead of selling assets and paying taxes, they borrow against them. That gives them cash, without giving up ownership. Then they use that borrowed money to acquire even more assets. If those assets grow faster than the cost of borrowing, wealth multiplies. Debt becomes leverage, and leverage accelerates everything. So the real question isn't whether debt is good or bad. It's who knows how to use it. How does illegal money suddenly look clean? Money laundering doesn't happen in one step. It's a process. First, the money quietly enters the system in small, unnoticeable amounts. Then it moves through layers of transactions, across accounts, businesses, even countries. Each step makes it harder to trace. Finally, it returns as legitimate income. At that point, it looks normal, because the system itself is complex, and complexity creates cover. So the real question isn't how money gets hidden, it's how anyone manages to track it at all.